So I have a lot of books to talk about. Yeah, it's been a really good reading year. All right, so it is June 19th today. I want to check in on some of my reading goals for the year. Okay, so this is kind of my mid-year reading check-in, and I've read a lot of books. And if you caught my last video, I wrapped up about 40 some books in one video. Didn't give a lot of details. Some of those books I'm going to talk about again today, hopefully with a little more detail so you can figure out if it's something that you're really interested in. I have a few stats. I love stats. So if you didn't know, I used to be a middle school science teacher. Statistics and data just make me happy. So going through looking at my reading and just kind of reflecting, I don't really make goals on what type of books. I really don't make a goal on how many. I set it on Goodreads. I set 50 every year, and I have already met that goal. But I do like to at least go back and reflect on it and look at, well, where am I spending most of my time reading? What am I spending my time with? Is there a genre that maybe I should spend a little more time with to help myself grow as a person? All of those things. So let's look into what I've read so far. All right, so as of June 19th today, I have read 55 books. The majority of those are audiobooks. I've probably read 10 physically and digitally. The majority are definitely audiobooks. I am a mom to 3 young boys, 5 and under, and books don't survive out in the wild, out in my living room. And so a lot of times it ends up being a digital book or an audiobook that I'm able to make it through. Let's see. My average rating for the year so far is a 4.3 rating. And I get that from Fable. So on Fable, you're allowed to do like half stars, even quarter stars, which I find much more helpful in saying whether I liked a book or not with that rating system. Overall, I still like Goodreads better. But as far as data, Fable's my favorite. Let's see, fiction versus nonfiction. I really thought it would be more nonfiction, but I've only read 9 nonfiction this year, and 46 of those books that I've read are fiction. Fable had this really neat reader summary for the year, so I want to read mine to you here. My reader summary: a heartstring believer. In the heart of your library, you've discovered emotional journeys and deep dives into complex themes. Throughout your literary travels, you seek stories about love and morality. So that about sums it up. I have read 17 books on religion and spirituality this year, and I think that has to include all of the fiction. I don't know how well I trust how these were marked. If only 17 were Christian in some way. We'll see. 17 of them were romance and 15 were historical fiction. Now those can definitely overlap. So it was probably a romance that was also historical fiction that also had Christian themes in it. So that kind of shows why the numbers are so large for that. My most read author is Tanya Kappas, and I read 6 books in the Campers and Criminals series this year so far. And then I read Esther Hatch. I read 3 books in the, what was the name of that series? I don't know, I'll put it right here. I think there's only 3 books in that series, and I read the entirety of that this year. Really enjoyed both of those. Okay. So as far as goals, I really didn't set a whole lot. I wanted to read more Christian nonfiction, which I've definitely done. If you listen to my wrap-up, you'll hear about some of those. And so I'm meeting that goal. I didn't set a number. I don't like setting a number. I just want to improve in certain areas. So along with this data, I'm going to answer some of the questions from the mid-year book freakout tag. Not my favorite tag. There's some questions in there that are just weird, like book boyfriends. No. But there are some really good, just middle of the road kind of questions I wanted to answer. Oh, but I did. And I have not picked my answers for this yet, so bear with me. Okay, best book so far in 2020. Oh, goodness. I do think it's this one so far. The Letter Tree by Rachel Fordham. Now we're talking fiction. If we were talking nonfiction, they're so different. Like, I read them for such different purposes that it's hard to compare them favorite to favorite. But for fiction, my favorite would be The Letter Tree by Rachel Fordham. There was something about the writing in this story that I couldn't put it down. It's like a Romeo and Juliet meets You've Got Mail, which anything You've Got Mail, I'm here for it. We have Buffalo, New York, 1924. Laura Bradshaw adores stories with happily ever afters. But since her mother died 7 years ago, the Bradshaw Shoe Company heiress has been as good as locked away in a tower. Her overbearing father cares little for her dreams, throwing himself instead into his tireless takedown of his competitor, the Campbell Shoe Company. However, Laura has been gifted with a reprieve, a mysterious friend with whom she's been exchanging letters. As the heir to Campbell Shoe Company, Isaac Campbell is a sought-after bachelor who has never felt an inkling of desire for the women who can constantly bat their eyes at him. His thoughts are consumed by an oak tree in the Buffalo Zoo, or rather, the mystery woman he exchanges letters with, courtesy of the tree. She's been one of Isaac's only joys in a life consumed by his father's tireless hatred of Bradshaw, a hatred that Isaac is coming to realize may affect him more personally than he ever imagined. So, it just, I don't know, it took my heart. The zoo animals, the You've Got Mail vibes in this one just, I don't know. It was exactly what I wanted out of this. And after I looked her up on Instagram, she is also a foster mom, like myself. And so I definitely can connect with her as a person and with her as her writing. So absolutely loved it. Would definitely recommend The Letter Tree. Okay, next question is best sequel. I don't know. As though I've read many sequels. Oh, I have. Okay. Sequel can just be in the series, right? It didn't have to be the second book. So, right next to the other one. Hope Like Wildflowers by Pepper Basham. I loved this one. This was my favorite book of the series so far. I don't know. Is it a series? Is she continuing it? I haven't looked into it, but I hope she does. This one was the story of Kizzy McAdams, who finds herself pregnant and is kicked out of her house, and just all of her trials in the process of trying to stand on her own 2 feet, take care of her child. It was my favorite story out of all of them. It actually doesn't take place in the same area, but it's all incorporated in. I don't know. The faith in these books is so good. The community and just the feel of the culture in the mountains it's one of my favorite parts of this book. I love the characters that Pepper develops. They are just some of my favorite people, and I feel like we're just friends by the end of the book. You know a book is good when you just feel like you have your friends around you. I don't know. I highly recommend this series. It actually starts with Laurel's Dream. I don't own that one. And then Heart of the Mountains, and this is the 3rd book in that series. Absolutely recommend. All right, the next question is new release that you haven't gotten to yet. Oh, there's a lot of new releases. None that I have pre-ordered. I have done a really good job this year of not pre-ordering books and just waiting to get it digitally, reading it through one of the services I already have. But there's several. I usually just add them to my Everand, and then when I'm ready, I borrow them from there. Let me pause. All right. So I had to go look it up on my phone here. New release that I haven't read yet, but I still want to. There's one that's been on there for a little bit, and that's the new one by Becca Kinzer, The First Love, Second Draft. That one, I loved her 2 other, I think I have them. Yeah. I have really enjoyed Love in Tandem and Dear Henry, Love Edith. Oh dear. No plants falling today. Okay, let's not do that again. I love those two books. This is the next book that she's released, and I'm looking forward to getting to it. I think it has kind of mixed reviews, so we'll see what my thoughts are when I get to it, but I am looking forward to that one. The other one, I don't know if it's really fair to say because it came out this week. So it is a new release. I haven't gotten to it yet. It's only been a few days, but that is the Atlas of Untold Stories by Sarah Brunsfeld. This one is a road trip across the Midwest, I believe. She had a post where it had different locations, and I know some places very close to me are included on that. So that was intriguing. I really want to pick that up and see what that story is about. I really enjoyed her other two books so far. Next question, my most anticipated release for the rest of the year. Like I said, I've been doing my best to not purchase the books or pre-order them and have them here. I would have to say the next one, the Gabriel Meyer series, the Timeless series, and I honestly can't think of the name of it right now. I'll pop a picture up here. I just finished book 5 in that series, which is Every Hour Until Then by Gabriel Meyer, and then I don't know the next one, but I am excited for it nonetheless. That one I'm looking forward to. I know there are so many more. So Pepper Basham has the next one in the Freddie and Grace series coming out, which I'm looking forward to. Other than that, this year I really haven't kept up with new releases all that well, and I'm kind of okay with it. It keeps me from spending all the money. I have purchased a lot of books at thrift stores this year. A lot of books. And I purchased a lot of books through Pango. As I'm selling off of my books, I've been using that money to purchase other books that I want to get to. And so that's been most of my book buying this year. I think if I go to my Amazon, I think brand new books, I know I bought some like at Scott. And I think that's it as far as brand new books that I purchased. Most of them have been secondhand or, most of them have been secondhand. So that's good. That's great. I feel like I'm meeting a goal there. I didn't make that a goal, but I should have. Okay. So those are some anticipated releases I'm looking forward to. A lot of them I'm going to pick up either from the library or from a service that I already have, like Everand. A lot of times you can get the audiobook. A lot of Christian fiction authors are on Everand. Now, I did not switch to the updated version, so if you don't have it already, I don't know what it looks like. I never switched over to the new system yet until they make me. So, the next question is biggest disappointment. And I've had a couple disappointments this year. I don't know. I have DNF'd maybe 2 or 3 books this year, which is a lot for me. I don't like to give up on books. I would rather set them down and come back to them in a year than to just say, I'm done with this book. I'm not reading it anymore. Unless there's something very problematic in it. I did DNF one for me personally for that book, but I'll talk about that in my 2025 check-in. The next video I'm going to record while I'm sitting here. But I don't know. I would have to say the next one would be an indie author, and I'm not going to just shout out an indie author, especially if it's their first book. Yeah, I'm going to move on from this question. Okay. Biggest surprise. There's so many. I've tried a lot of new authors, and I've tried a lot of new genres, new types of nonfiction, and I've been very surprised by some of it in a good way. What's the biggest surprise, though? I'm going to go with, for this question, I'm going to go with The Secret Garden. Even though I knew generally where the story was going, I was surprised at how much I just loved it. I shouldn't be surprised anymore because beloved classics are beloved for a reason. And this one just stole my heart. There were moments where I was like, I wish they would just reference God. Like, we're talking about like the beauty of the garden and all of those things and where it comes from and the magic of the garden. I wish that would be a little bit different, but I loved this story. I love the themes of overcoming and believing in yourself and just, oh, I don't know, the garden. The garden brings me so much peace. Gardening can be majorly overwhelming, but when you look at things like a little seed, and it starts off the year as just a seed in soil, and it grows, one seed grows into this massive plant producing all of this fruit or this massive flower. I have some mammoth sunflowers that are growing out in my garden right now, and it's one tiny seed for this ginormous plant that is like, I don't know, 4 feet over my head, that I don't know. Gardening books get me, and The Secret Garden definitely did that. Plus just the genuine goodness of the story. It was so precious. I loved it. Okay, favorite new author. I should have prepared some answers for this. Let's see. New author. So somebody I have not read before. There's no one on that list. See, before I say it's a favorite author, I really want to read more than one book from them. Because yeah, one book could be great and then the next 3 I don't like. So it's hard to say. Who have I read that I am most excited to pick up another book from? Well, let's go back to my favorite book so far. It'd be Rachel Fordham. I love this, and I have heard great things about the next one. Was it Beyond Ivy Walls? I've heard such great things about that one as well. I'm gonna say Rachel Fordham, but there's so many new authors. What am I saying? New to me authors that I've read this year that I would absolutely pick up another one. Karen Barnett in Where the Trees Touch the Sky. This book made me cry, and most books this year, books that made other people cry, didn't hit me. I don't know what's going on with me this year. I'm normally an easy crier at books, and this is the only fiction book that has made me cry this year. There have been several nonfiction books that have really hit me. Another one is Love in the Eternal City by Rebecca W. Martin. I cannot wait to pick up the second book in this series. I don't think there's a date for release at this point, but definitely excited to see what comes next in this story. Lynn Austen, If I Were You. I absolutely am looking forward to picking up more from this author. I know she is very beloved. I see why with this book, and I'm excited to pick up more. But again, which one's my favorite? I would say Rachel Fordham is the one I'm looking forward to most, but no, it's hard to say it's a favorite author until I've read more than one book from them. So we shall see. Those are some that I'm looking forward to picking up another book from the same author. Most beautiful book you bought. Okay, so I said I only bought one new book, and I guess that means I only bought one new release book. I did, for my birthday, my husband bought me some books, and yeah, it would be these. Oh my goodness, I love these covers. I have not read all of these books. I have read Little Women. Let's see. Sense and Sensibility is on my list for this year. Look at that. Goodness. Oh my goodness. The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton, I have not read. And Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Oh, that one's not showing up so well. Maybe that's a little better. But they are just so beautiful. There's a couple more up there. I'm not going to hold them all. But these Cranford Collection series books, I just want all of them on my shelf. Look how beautiful they look. I don't know. I love me some beautiful spines on my shelf. And, I mean, obviously the front cover too. But what do you see most of the time? is the spine of the book. So definitely my most beautiful books of the year. Some honorable mentions for this one with The Secret Garden. So pretty. I think this is the Barnes & Noble edition of it. And then I found this one on Pingo super cheap. But this copy of The Hobbit, it's the 75th anniversary. Alright, so that's it for the questions that I'm going to answer on this tag. And I hope you found something to enjoy. If not, just entertained you for a little bit. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.